The moving wall is made of aluminum, but painted with a black gloss to replicate the mirror-like image of the original, and takes 50% of me and 50% of the dog. This original part of the bridge used to be completely underwater. Lesson making is all in the details. 197 and First Avenue is one of the most congested intersections in Bemidji. The dogs are attached to a neckline and a tug line. Black Friday shoppers who aren't using apps to find sales, they're accessing the internet on their phones. So this is what Jen calls a subtle look. This leftover bark could be used to make biomass production. If you don't click it, you get the ticket. The idea of Zumba is that it's designed so that anyone can do it. Farms were the ones hit hardest in the Bluffton area.
Welcome home, Elizabeth.
It was meant to be a joyous occasion, celebrating former Cass Lake High School student Elizabeth Ann McKenzie's safe return from serving her country in Afghanistan. But it turned out to be a lie.
She is not a soldier.
After receiving several claims that McKenzie had never served overseas, nor was she active in the military, Pike Bay Police Chief Zeb Hemsworth decided to find out, and what he discovered was shocking.
There was no record of Elizabeth Ann McKenzie serving in the military.
Officer Hemsworth contacted community members who say they also noticed small signs that McKenzie wasn't a soldier.
She's got a lower rank on the top and the higher rank is on her chest area.
Leech Lake Veterans Service Officer Frank Bowstring interviewed McKenzie on the day of her homecoming ceremony, and like many other veterans, he didn't think to question McKenzie's military status.
It's actually a really big insult to the community of Cass Lake.
McKenzie admitted to Hemsworth that she lied about going to Afghanistan, but claims she is in the military, but her records had been lost.
What seems to be underlying all this is her motivation.
The honor of my uncle, my cousin, is what I'm really meant for it to be.
While McKenzie says it was to honor her family members who are veterans, Cass County officials say McKenzie may have some underlying mental health issues.
It's just not ordinary and usual for somebody to go to these lengths to get attention.
I kind of knew that something was up.
McKenzie's mother says her daughter's mental health is the reason she has been estranged from McKenzie since she was 17. She says McKenzie tried to enlist but failed the physical exam.
I think in her mind she believes she is in the military.
While the Cass Lake community is confused, shocked, and upset, they just want to see McKenzie get help.
If there's people that are out there willing to help, I'm willing to change. Kind of I need to. You know, if I could make things right, I would.
For more than 50 years, Lynn Swagert and her family have made this 55-acre island a getaway for thousands. But with Lake Beltane's rising water levels, this place of paradise is quickly approaching a watery grave.
We've got 4 generations of families that have been coming here camping, and that's not something you want to lose.
Lake Beltane has a long history of rising water levels because it has no outlet to drain excess water. But Hubbard County officials can't seem to come up with a solution that doesn't sink.
We had an engineering firm come up with some various plans, and each one, of course, has a problem.
All along the lake shoreline, backyards are underwater. Once beautiful sandy beaches have slowly disappeared, and homeowners like Lynn Matsko have had to build rock structures to keep their land from collapsing into the lake.
Completely underwater, and it hasn't gone down at all this summer. It's sad.
Back in the early 2000s, this original part of the bridge used to be completely underwater, so family members had to build an additional platform to make sure people could access the island. But now they're saying there's no telling how long this platform will stay afloat if water levels continue to rise.
If it continues the way it is, we will not be open next spring.
While property damage has been a significant problem from flooding, rising water levels also create safety and health hazards.
Washing of topsoil and clay into the lake, which affects water quality, but also flooding septic systems.
And with tourism attractions like Campers Paradise bringing in millions to the local economy, if their business goes underwater, the entire community goes with it. So from the many families who call the shores of Lake Beltane home to all of Hubbard County that benefit from this lake's beauty, everyone wants Beltane to be water under the bridge. Balloon making is no longer limited to circus clowns. It's a certified profession. Kelly Minkowski is professionally trained in inflating, twisting, and tying balloons into just about anything.
When you say balloon, most people say, oh, can you make a dog? It's because they don't know all of the things that you could do with a balloon.
From the simple to the extravagant, and what she can do with a bunch of balloons will blow your mind.
It's about 10 feet tall and 12 feet wide.
So with such a unique job, how does one get the training? You go to balloon artist school, of course.
Starts out as an online school, and so you do that part of it first, and then you have to go on site to actually pass the final exams.
You don't have to be certified to be a balloon artist. Only 2,000 people in the world hold the distinguished title, but not many balloon artists can create Mankowski's masterpieces.
Most people can't do that, and I want to do something that's a little bit over and above. Creating a flower here.
Mankowski is going to show me how to make a flower corsage, which uses the twisting technique.
Beautiful.
So now that I'm down to 3 petals now. And there you have it. I think I'll stick to reporting.
There are a lot of things that goes into it that people don't realize.
There are 2 types of balloon art, design and twisting.
The twisting side is where you make the dogs and the snakes and the pirate swords and all of that kind of thing. And the decor side is more the decorating for events.
For Mankowski, the real joy of being in the business of balloon art is making people smile.
Being able to get somebody to smile and using my creative juices at the same time is, you know, the best of both worlds.
It's certifiable art and happiness made out of thin air. Exploring the great outdoors is always an adventure.
Look at this web.
But if you are Pamela Johnson and Kathy McEwen, touring the Minnesota countryside requires a camera.
It's really pretty. I see a photo in almost anything.
Johnson and McEwen have been going on these random road trip photo shoots for 7 years.
I think she said to me, let's go shoot some time together. And after the first time, we were just smitten with the idea.
At first, this duo started off with a set destination, but roadside distractions always led them down a different path.
We had sort of a plan, and we find a cute little road, and that turns into another road or another field.
Today, we started in Bemidji, photographing an eagle off the side of the road. Then a babbling brook and a bridge took us somewhere outside Besaida. And after chasing farmlands and following a trail of dirt roads, we ended up in Shevlin.
We'll be driving and slam on the brakes. Ooh, did you see that barn? Or let's go shoot those lady slippers over there. Or the lighting's cool here. Let's stop and see what we can make over there.
From flowers and farm animals to barbed wire and rundown buildings, there's no limit to what these photographers capture on camera. On these crazy adventures, these 2 photographers like to play candid camera and capture a picture of each other without them knowing. So since I came along for the adventure this time, I got to be a part of this fun activity as well. Once these 2 see something they want to shoot, there's no stopping them from getting that perfect picture.
We have traipsed through poison ivy and swamps and many wood ticks and horseflies and mad dogs.
Johnson and McEwen say they learned a lot from shooting together, and for them, the best way to learn is from experience.
We've just grown by leaps and bounds just by bouncing things off of each other and having ready access to one another out in the field to just say, what would you do? What would you change?
Having a wealth of knowledge, however, can't teach you all the tricks, because these ladies' knack for shooting nature is innate.
Ooh, pretty.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So for these 2 adventurous photographers, nature always looks better through a lens. 11 in the morning is usually a time when Itasca Sports is filled with its first customers for the day. But now the bikes are locked up, the kayaks untouched, and the boats sit idle in an algae-covered marina.
It's sad to see.
When Minnesota government shut down, Itasca State Park was shut down. And for the first time in 25 years of business, so was Itasca Sports. And owners Karen and Sam Smith lost their business and their livelihood.
Never thought I'd live to see the day where Itasca was closed. Everything would be gone.
But Itasca Sports owners of 7 years, Karen and Sam, say the busiest time of the season starts on July 1st, the same day the government shutdown began.
That's how we're able to pay all of our bills, is July and August, those 2 months. They're supposed to be used and they're just sitting here collecting dust.
But while many of these boats sit idle at this marina today, the Smiths have started a moving marina business where they deliver their 11 pontoon boats to customers at lakes all across Minnesota.
It's a lot of driving around the road all day, just driving boats to places. But at least it's something.
So while the Smiths are scraping by with their moving marina sales, they say delivering pontoon boats can't keep their family afloat forever. So their next business plan will be finding another source of survival.
We're not above getting jobs, and if I have to go find work, I will.
For many business owners who rely on tourism during the summer months, the government shutdown could not have come at a worse time.
It will all pass and we'll all be okay. It's just
When?
when.
And for the Smiths, the more time legislators argue over the state's budget, the more time their boats collect moss and their bikes collect dirt. And the longer they have to wait to get their business and their lives back up and running. It's nitty, it's gritty, it's art. Metal worker and metal sculptor Paula Jensen welds, hammers,
I'm making it square first.
and drills hunks of metal into beautiful works of art.
You wouldn't even know what it's going to be by the time I'm done when I start out.
She started off as a painter, but when Jensen's husband taught her how to use the tough techniques of welding and blacksmithing, she ditched her easel for an anvil.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
But the transition from fine art to forging wasn't easy. But after a few meltdowns, Jensen eventually molded into a well-rounded medalist.
When you first start off, you feel like you're all thumbs, and it was just practice.
So I'm going to try my hand at a technique called forging. And there you have it, a hook. Jensen also started off mostly forging her artwork as a metalsmith, but now she is focusing more on her sculpting skills. This copper owl is Jensen's most recent sculpting project. She's been working on it since last fall, and with such fine details, only carving will cut it.
I'll take the Dremel with a carbide bit, and I literally carve the lines into it.
After years of experience, this metal master says she is far from being perfect. But however imperfect Jensen claims to be, even she still manages to surprise herself.
I'll step back and I'll go, wow, I made that.
And when you can turn scraps into sculptures, who wouldn't be amazed? For this week's In Focus, Jamil Donith, Lakeland News.